Bots on Twitter are a problem, but it seems like there's a better way to spot them now.
Hey Matt, I heard you have a story about Twitter bots?
Yeah, this is really cool. I'm really impressed with the research that came out of this. So some research came out from Duo Security talking about how they tried to identify bots on Twitter using statistical analysis and a little bit of machine learning. Not only did they do the research, they are going to release their code to allow other people to reproduce it. So what they're basically doing is they're trying to use the Twitter API to identify bot-like behavior and then map out a network using a graph networking tool to see what accounts are connected, and then analyze all of them and say, does this look like a botnet on Twitter? And they did a combination of looking at certain features manually and then also using machine learning, in particular a random forest model, to try and pull out what they think are the salient features of Twitter bots. And that's things like their handles, the way that they tweet, what hours they tweet at, how many times in a day, how many other accounts they're connected to. And they found from these 88 million public accounts that they were able to go through, they actually found a 15,000 botnet pushing a cryptocurrency scam, which is kind of neat. And they show, the accounts that they found and how they did it. So being able to identify bots and kick them off the platform is something that Twitter is interested in being able to do. So Duo shared their findings with Twitter. Hopefully this will lead to better bot detection on Twitter and a cleaner, maybe a little healthier ecosystem on Twitter for everybody who's a user.
So was there any trends that they picked up on as far as the type of behavior that they were looking for from these bots?
Well, it seems like there are different reasons to have bots. Some of them are to inflate your follower count. Some bots exist purely to follow other people. Others are there to amplify a message or send out spam tweets to people. Actually, one of the features they found more interesting was the number of times that an account tweets links specifically, as opposed to just regular comments. So if you would think about a normal human user, they're not constantly sending links all day.
Right.
And they didn't distinguish in their model between malicious bots and plain old bots. They wanted to just show this is automated behavior.
Right.
And then human analysts can go in and say this is obviously detrimental behavior, as opposed to like, this is some guy whose bot is tweeting song lyrics and it really doesn't hurt anybody, that kind of thing.
Right.
So
I'm curious to see how the individuals like putting out these bots, how they react to this type of research and how do they modify their bots' behavior. Someone that's really determined, they're going to kind of come across this information and modify the behavior of their bots to kind of get around any sort of automated detection of the bots. That's
always the question, right? Are there certain behaviors of bots that you can't really remove without sacrificing the functionality of the bot? Right. Yeah, that's a good one. I'd love to see where this goes. Yeah. But I agree with you that most likely anybody who is running a bot and got kicked off the platform is already looking at ways to get back in and avoid the same kinds of detection methods that we saw here.
Right. I think the article mentioned something about one of the things that they looked at is, a normal human is not constantly tweeting the entire day, right? So there's periods of time where they're not tweeting, and then when they are tweeting. So I think that's one of the behaviors that they look for, right? So obviously, if I got booted out, my next bot is going to kind of put some sort of delay in. I'll try to prevent
during your 9 to 5 or something.
Right. I'll try to prevent that from looking like an automated response from a bot, or to be more of a human characteristic.
Yeah, I think that's true. I mean, you're probably always going to have a gradient in the ability of the bot authors to create something that looks human, as opposed to something that's quick and dirty and it gets the job done. You know what I mean? So as long as it's the same with malware. I think we've seen that the people who are getting into the scene are writing their stuff, and you look at it and go, yeah, obviously that's malware. I can look at it with my own 2 eyes and tell. But there are other people who have more experience and have found ways to evade detection. I think that this is a worthwhile article for people to read, if only to take a look at some of the features that they think are indicative of bot behavior. So if you start looking, someone starts messaging you, or you see a conversation that looks like it might not feel quite right, these might help tip the scales and make your decision whether this is a human being tweeting or a bot.